I love the way you gloss over that point where, and life got going.
So it's a frontier.
I know, I'm just saying, that's kind of a big divide there. There was no life, there was just the elements, and then life got going.
Well, elements, and then there was organic chemistry, and then there was life.
The point is, you can't live on Mars. I've said this so many times. How badly would we have to rat fuck Earth?
Yeah.
Before it was worse than a place that's 200 below zero.
Yeah.
With no air, no water.
And everyone before 150 years ago
but lower than the rest
organic. And half of them died before they were 35.
Yeah,
science matters.
Of course it does.
But sometimes you don't sound that way. That's what worries me.
Well, actually, you're the guy.
He came in talking about Mars, arithmetic, and germs. But a scientific talk did not appeal to BillMaher. He wanted clarity. After Neil danced around it, Maher brought him back to Earth, where he started learning about cosmic calendars, microbes, and Mars. The audience laughs, but Maher waits because the punch is going to be delivered.
What do you make of the research emerging this week that suggests underground microbes on Mars suck so much hydrogen out of the air and cause dramatic climate change on the planet? I read this, and what it said was that they think around the time that life formed in our oceans, about 3.7 million years ago, billion years, obviously, yes. Where I don't know what day that would be on the cosmic calendar. Would that be about September? On the cosmic, I remember my cosmic calendar. I love the cosmic calendar. I love the cosmic calendar.
We all love the cosmic calendar.
So that's around September of the cosmic calendar. Okay, so and same thing could have happened on Mars. There was microbes, but they ate the hydrogen and then emitted methane, gross. And that caused, they said before that Mars could have been a balmy 68 degrees, but that caused the planet to cool.
The runaway conduct of a species can have dramatic consequences to all other life in that ecosystem.
Don't we know it?
The potentiality of being Martians ourselves. Maher doesn't believe it, but Neil puts it out there. When he tells jokes, the audience laughs. Neil struggles with whether to sound amazing or out of place. Asteroids are becoming a threat.
Without naming names.
I'm remembering the Dutch elm disease that took out all the Dutch elms in the Northeast. And so now there are no Dutch elms. And so I don't know what the disease is now attacking, but it doesn't have Dutch elms.
Was there life on Mars 3.7 billion years ago?
We don't have reason to doubt it because the ingredients of life, hydrogen, oxygen, carbon, nitrogen, are everywhere in the universe. And you throw in a little bit of water, and life got going almost as quickly as it possibly could have on Earth. And if Mars had those conditions earlier than Earth did, it may be that Mars was the birth of life in the inner solar system. And asteroid impacts, we know, can send rocks into space, and they land on Earth. It's called panspermia. It may be that everyone on Earth is a descendant of Martians.
So sometimes we should let the asteroids hit. Sometimes it's a good.
Neil starts acting dramatic very fast. If we get hit, we're done. As Maher demands a specific plan, Neil starts to describe robot nudging. Although early identification seems like a smart strategy to avoid an asteroid, Maher's joke is more funny than the physics. And again, while Tyson floats in space, Maher maintains things grounded.
Questions. First one is for you. How serious are asteroid collision threats? Are we adequately prepared for a catastrophe if the Earth is hit?
No.
Great. Wait, no
to engineering.
No to both? No to both questions? Or how serious are they?
Yeah, well, so if one hits and it destroys the entire population of the world, that would be bad. And so you have to ask if there's any risk of that in the next 1,000 years. It seems to me it's worth a little bit of insurance money to put in there to create a mission to deflect it. And it's not what Bruce Willis did. In America, we're good at blowing stuff up, and we're less good at knowing where the pieces go. So you want to deflect it.
How do you do that?
We have 20 ways that we've...
Name one.
Name one. You go up to it and nudge it.
What do you mean you go up to it?
Well, robots. Space, not you, but space ships. So if you nudge it early enough, then that that little bit of vector you give it will accumulate so they can miss Earth completely. That's why early detection, like with cancer, early detection of asteroids is what you need in order to make sure the future of Earth is.
Neil goes on to say that he spoke with the Space Force. Really? Maher looks at him. It is well received by the crowd. Tyson is being sincere. Maher is sarcastic. Then the difference is evident.
And I've spoken with the head of the Space Force, and I said, if you're going to defend us or the Earth, let's include defending us against asteroid strikes.
Right.
So that I'm trying to make sure it's on their radar.
And were they receptive
Yes,
to that
it was.
suggestion?
It was General Raymond at the beginning of the Space Force.
Space Force.
Yeah.
Wow. I have one of their jackets.
I just,
You gotta be as badass. You gotta be.
I mean, I don't feel like I should wear it because I'm not in it, but I do.
Elon Musk and Mars are now involved. Neil tells the stark truth. Unless there is a conflict, no one is investing, because it is too expensive and risky. It has captured Maher's heart. They finally agree on something. Maher is erratic. What would happen if China falsified a Mars memo? Just like that, everyone is on board. Everybody in the crowd lets out a cry. Maher turns the scientific debate into a political snub.
How soon could Elon Musk realistically send humans to Mars? Another good question.
I have strong views on that. My read of the history of space exploration is such that we do big, expensive things only when it's geopolitically expedient, such as we feel threatened by an enemy. And so for him to just say, let's go to Mars because it's the next thing to do, what does that venture capitalist meeting look like? So, Elon, what do you want to do? I want to go to Mars. How much will it cost? $1 trillion. Is it safe? No, people will probably die. What's the return on the investment? Nothing. That's a 5-minute meeting and it doesn't happen. So
We agree. I'm not for going to Mars.
okay, wait. I have nothing against Mars. What I'm saying is, here's how we get to Mars, ready? China leaks a memo. Doesn't even have to be true. They leaked a memo that they want to put military bases on Mars.
Right.
Then we're on Mars in 10 months, but NASA doesn't have a spacecraft, but Elon does. Here's my spacecraft to Mars, and we end up paying him to use his spaceship to get to Mars. And that'd be easy for China because Mars is already red, right? So that'd be an easy sell.
Tyson is still talking about global interest and the energy imbalance, while Maher is already imagining the Mars race as a Netflix comedy. Fantastic.
Okay? That's how. So I don't see it happening until governments judge that it's geopolitically in our interest. Otherwise, I don't see it as just an exploration.
but I believe President-elect Trump has some interest in Mars, so you might have another conversation in a couple of
At
months.
some point, somebody has to pay for it, and just being interested in something is not the same thing as paying for it.
He believes there are people there. I mean, I listened to that podcast with Joe Rogan. It took 4
can't-
hours,
wait.
two bottles of wine,
This is
but
so-
I listened.
this
Why do his comments of what he thinks is alive on Mars matter to you at all?
Because
He's president.
I was wondering. I thought maybe that he might escape there for the holidays. You know, you got me stuck on the damn holidays
but
now.
The point is, you can't live on Mars. I've said this so many times. How badly would we have to rat fuck Earth?
Yeah.
Before it was worse than a place that's 200 below zero.
Yeah.
With no air,
I'm with you.
no
Oh, good.
water.
Then, suddenly, politics. Democrats are still supported among Jewish and LGBT voters, according to Maher. Tyson stays silent. Numbers are dropped by Maher. People are humming. He's not waiting on science here. He's just stating the truth.
Come on, you're gonna have that alignment party. I know you're. It's gonna be like a giddy freak off. It's gonna
not
be
happen.
great. Oh, are you kidding? When they align. Okay, you guys, what do you think of the fact that the gays and the Jews stuck with the Democrats? Gays voted for Kamala 84%, and Jews 79%. That's interesting because there was so much talk about defection from those groups, and they came home. Those two groups came home to the Democrats.
Tyson tries to get up. He knows what's going to happen.
Come to recognize that the human brain is not wired for thinking statistically or probabilistically about anything. And then I looked at the history of math. Do you realize the first time anyone took an average of numbers and figured out that that was a good idea was after calculus had been invented? So that tells me that it is not natural to think that way anyway. And there are entire industries that have risen up to exploit that fact, and they're called casinos. Because people say, yeah, it's due. Yeah, no, it's not due. You don't understand probability and statistics.
It's there. Neil connects it to immunizations, but before he can finish, Maher cuts him off. Maher clarifies that while he is skeptical of anything medical, he is not opposed to vaccinations. That's when the two clash once more. Tyson wants to feel secure. Maher is curious.
So in that, so that means we're incapable as a species of truly understanding risk. And this goes to like vaccines, okay? I don't want to like poke the bear here, but what I'm saying is,
The bear believes in vaccines, just being skeptical of all medical interventions, as everyone should.
well, except 99 out of 100 medical interventions, you're not saying, I need a second opinion. If you have tuberculosis, you don't need a second opinion. If you have polyps in your colon,
It's not close to 99%.
it's easily 99%.
It is not.
If you break a femur, you don't get a second opinion
I
on that.
agree, but that's not most things that happen to people. Lots of things that happen to people, and I'm thrilled that you don't ever have this happen in your life, and I hope you never do. But trust me, most people at a certain point in their life will need a second opinion.
The second opinion, yes, but that's after you've been through 99 other. I'm trying to put credit back to doctors, where our life expectancy is 3 times what it was 150 years ago. And everyone before 150 years ago ate
lower than the rest
organic. And half of them died before they were 35.
Yeah,
Science matters.
Of course it does.
But sometimes you don't sound that way. That's what worries me.
Well, actually, you're the guy. You're the guy who doesn't understand why the NBA team can't beat the Lakers. So I don't know. You're supposed to be the scientist, and you couldn't even admit that. And as far as medicine goes, I could talk to you this about all day. But again, we do have a party to get to. But this is not your field. You're not a doctor.
No, but I'm a scientist. Excuse me.
Yeah, that's not a doctor.
No, hold on.
That's not a doctor.
I'm a scientist. You know what? Probability,
when I
statistics.
get a goiter on Uranus, I'll call.
It was an insane ride. Neil had brought the science. The fire was ignited by Bill. Tyson may have the evidence, but Maher has the crowd. And with live television, that's what really wins out.